So hopefully this doesn't sound so bad, but hello everyone and no one, and welcome to another Riding with Rotn. We're going to have a little bit more wiggle. I think that thing isn't going to get me. Oh, shoot. Nope, that was the wrong way. Tighten. That's the proper way to tighten. Actually, I kind of like that. So we're getting more jiggle cam, slight canted, and hopefully not making the shit out of my microphone since we're trying for another location. All right, buddy, if you're going to turn, get in fucking turning lane. Barely a minute in. All right. Been a long week. I used to working more than 12, but we haven't had to really work overtime in a while. We're working a massive of it, then we're not. The way things go, putting in new machines. So today, after spending some time with my dad, since my mom had to work this weekend, go for a drive, then go stop at grocery store so I can return the bottles I got, because Michigan has that bottle return. And I got a friggin' enough of them, so that'll at least clear out some spot in my apartment. Still couldn't believe the Shell gas station didn't have a friggin' canned Arizonas. So which way do I want to take today? I mean, I always could have took the highway and just gone north some, then come back down south. I mean, hell, with the stories just talking about my dad, it was the perfect time to do a ride with him. But trying to give that a few more weeks and have me not be so worn out. I don't know if it's getting old or just tired. But we're going to see how this goes. So we'll go into something else. Still got like 4 days left on some of the gun broker auctions I have. The one that mostly waiting on to see if I win, because if I win it may become the optic I put on my new G22 slide. Otherwise, if I do get outbid on it, I'm waiting on like someone to outbid me, or it's like to bid like $5 more, and I'll be outbid. Or no, it have to be $6 for them to outbid me. I've only got a few things on Gunbroker I'm seriously bidding on right now. Everything else is just, that'd be kind of cool. Because the cool thing about Gunbroker comparatively to eBay is, well, one, while both have gun-related stuff, obviously, Gunbroker has actual guns. But I've been going through them for optics and everything, which has been pretty decent. Heck, they were who I went through for my optic plate for my Prodigy. Because if you buy a Prodigy, it comes with a footprint. It comes with a doctor footprint plate, because they were heavily pushing the it's not a Vortex, dang it. It's one of the Hex optics. I think it was the Dragonfly. But I'm not a fan of it, because it's one of the ones to remove it, or to change the battery, you have to pull off the entire optic, and that's been the biggest thing I'm personally not a fan of. We have progressed enough in optic technology that there is absolutely no reason any optic should have to be removed to replace the battery, in my opinion. Like, I mean, for crying out loud, Trigicon has that for like their it's RMCC and like their SRO, and I'm like, dude, that's ridiculous. I mean, these things are already the minimum $600 for them, and the Gideon, which is one of the ones I'm bidding on, their SRO clone, yeah, it's a little taller for the base, but you don't have to remove the optic to replace the battery. I mean, even heck, good lord, now I'm forgetting optics. It's not Delta. It's got the Delta Point Pro footprint. Oh crap! It is Vortex for their Defender series and whatnot. Like, I just can't see a valid reason to have to keep an optic or to remove an optic to do that or to replace the battery. And I know some will probably say, "Oh, to co-witness with stock iron sights." Well, there's two options. You can actually, depending on what it is, add a little more material to the top of the slide and have it be a bit thicker of a boy that way, so you can make a deeper optic cut, or you can do like the SIG Romeo X compact does, to where it put the battery on the side, and that's that's not the one I'm looking at for my Glock, but the direct mount G22 one I've been looking at is from Gideon, but it's their competition with the 8 MOA optic or dot. I know some people would probably be like, that's ginormous. You want to go smaller so you can be more accurate. And it's like, bro, this is my predominantly home defense gun. I don't need it to be a small dot that I may struggle to find. Like, I want it to be a massive dot. And honestly, after, oh Jesus, that was way better more than I thought. After the whole thing with, or it's like listening to like a couple different YouTubers, like Humble Marksman, who's a predominantly competition shooter, even Nightwood Guns, which both channels are absolutely more massive than me, so I'm not getting anything to promote them. I like their stuff. It's like, well, Nightwood, that tends to like the smaller dot with maybe something around it. His favorite is the Hollow Sun 507 comp. Listening to Humble Marksman for like, even his open class race gun has like a 9 MOA red dot on it. So I am more open to using a bigger dot, especially when I'm not planning to shoot a great distance potentially, and hopefully never, other than at the range. And I don't think I've been this far this way in a long time. Well, down this road, I haven't gone down the back roads in forever. I mean, heck, I'm still debating if I want to try to find another RMSC optic to test out on my 40 Smith & Wesson Shield Performance Center. I kind of like the one that's on there, but there's a couple others I wouldn't mind trying that are probably going to be more of a dot. But in all honesty, I've been looking at ones to where instead of having that, like trying to have that 2 or 3 MOA dot, I'm trying to look at like a 4 to 7. So again, if you're looking at a carry gun, you're not always looking at having to shoot freaking 40, 50 yards. You may if you're doing what the Dickens guy did with a bone stock Glock. I think it was a 19. Which it is a good idea to actually push beyond normal thing. But I mean, heck, you should be, if you're using the dot, you should be like zeroing it in like minimum, I should say, bare minimum, like 15 yards. 25 is actually usually about the best. Yeah, you'll be a little high, I want to say close or whatnot. That was one of my major issues. I made a mistake of at first with that gun and a couple others I was shooting. Was I had them zeroed at a further distance and then was shooting them at like 7-ish yards and then zeroed it to that, and then I couldn't hit shit at distance. And once I got the better understanding of it, because it finally clicked at me, stop being a complete freaking idiot, I started to shoot exponentially better. It's the reason why whenever I get off my patootie, off my butt, and finally do an update on that Vector Frenzy optic, it'll be a pretty good one. Because the footage I have for that, man, I was just wailing on that steel. Oh, I swear to crying out loud. All right, this side's pretty good. You're not terrible enough for me to be like, oh, I can't go. But good Lord, y'all went and did the whole thing of just spreading yourselves out well enough. Oh, and the heat's kind of picked up in the car. It's gonna be warm from my nosy down to my toesies. And another one of those. That one wasn't near as bad. It's just throwing my freaking mount all over the place. But what do I expect when I have the thing doing more of an upright? All right, I think I actually went down this road last time. So I definitely didn't mean to do a redux, but coming from my folks' house, there's only so much I can do. There we go. There we go. That's a bit better. It's I wasn't trying to do that. I wanted to point it over to the or the side to my right. And this seems to be working pretty decent. I am definitely not going down a dirt road. Heck, this will be a probably quieter drive whenever here in a few weeks when I decide I'm going to change off of my winter tires to my summer tires. It's not that I'm super rich or anything. I just the summer after I got out of the military, I bought myself a second set of tires. Screw it. Let's turn here. Let's slightly follow this guy, but not purposely follow this guy. Holy crap, there is a whole bunch of downed trees in there. This area probably isn't too bad to hunt for the wooded portion because it offers quite a bit of cover without going super into it. Oh snap, I think that lady has the style of I think that was a chick. The roof rack I want. It's kind of like that old saying, if I ever won the lotto, there'd be very few people I'd tell, but there'd be signs. I mean, if I won the jackpot, I'd be able to quit my job and, oh, once I got everything set up, I would be making a lot of more YouTube videos. Maybe. Man, I can't remember being out this way. Then again, I'm taking roads that most people normally don't, unless they live out here or have a friend that lives out here. I mean, even trying to drive to specific places, you're not going to take as many of these roads. I am pretty sure this isn't the road to go down to that we took to go to the one gas station. It's actually got some pretty good fried catfish. And if you keep going east of it, that it would have there's a gun store with an indoor gun range. I think there was a barbecue place just east of it that was mediocre at best. Man, I don't know if it's like I just don't have high expectations. I don't think I've been like introduced to the best barbecue in the world or anything. It's just I never have high expectations of so many barbecue places because, well, to be the dick that most people are, think about that whole situation. There also have to be like produced or put out to a massive audience. It's kind of like whenever you look at let's say, unless it's a single place, they can get a little spicier in some of what they would go to make. But still, most places really don't. And I know someone would probably say, oh, that's because white people can't handle spice. You've obviously never met rednecks. And let's be honest, what's typically considered white people food, or it's like white people cooking, is suburbanite white people cooking. That's just all from the burbs. Or, to be the asshole, some folks have said that the only time these folks have ever had the quote unquote white people food is because they ate it at school, for public school, or they've eaten it in prison or in jail. And all that shit, from everything I've been told, is pretty bland. But, it's prison or jail, so it's not meant to be a 5-star restaurant. It's meant to just make sure you get the amount of calories you're supposed to get. As I said in the last video, I forget how much fucking farmland is in so much of this goddamn country. And to go off on a correction again, if anyone ever says, you say the GD word a lot, like, I'm not using as, Christians or anyone would say, the big G of God. I said got. And that story comes from a buddy of mine from the military when I was, we went through tech school together and went to different duty stations that were pretty close by in New Mexico. His was in Albuquerque. So I went to go visit him one time. And he brought up of how, since, he was religious, if I could try not to, use the GD thing as much. And since he asked me rather politely, and both him and I got along really well, I was like, I can do that. So I've tried to make it to get rid of, saying the God and just use GOT. It's not really in respect to anyone else. It's just then if I'm around religious people or some elderly people that I actually like, I'm not mad at saying goddamn. Yeah, it's surprising how much farmland there actually is around many places. and a church. All right. We'll look for the next right, not right, left I can take because I'm not trying to go south. One of these days I ought to do that. I ought to like make my way down towards like South Haven or something. I ought to do some research on some alternate routes I could take. Maybe make a drive by one of the beaches one of these days. Instead of just hitting rural West Michigan farmland for the most part. uh, but I mean, these types of drives give me so much more area. It's always strange because I will have some topics I might want to talk about and can never remember them as soon as I start. And then once I get in, I just start rambling about a bunch of nonsense. All right, that only goes southbound. I mean, considering the fact I haven't done a drive since last weekend, I haven't used a whole lot of gas so I have to go to work, so not too bad. So I could definitely live out in this area, especially with some of the more wooded spots. My only issue is I would still want cable internet brought out here because I wouldn't want to have to rely on satellite internet or Starlink or any of that, considering they can still have issues. All right, pickup, I'm not following you. You just happen to turn down the right road. As long as it's not a no outlet. Holy crap, they don't even have a freaking road sign for it. Well, street sign, I guess. Well, that was a wide ass turn for no fucking reason. Whatever. Somebody got a sled for sale. 2,500. Grab me another drink of Sprite. Ooh, getting into some hilly area. Yeah, if I ever had the money to live in an area more like this that still had halfway decent, or still had pretty good internet, I could do it. I mean, I don't mind driving to get some of the groceries, but I'd definitely be able to hunt to get them. I would really like that, actually. Well, son of a biznitch. Fuck it, we're going right. Why I'm mixing matching weird ass swear words, I don't know. Nice blinker, douchebag. Surprising. Subaru doesn't use its fucking blinker, but the Jeep does. I hate it when people do that. Well, but with the Jeep, you couldn't tell if it was going to turn. All right, so this northbound road is it paved? Yeah, it is. We'll take it and go past this little old church that I think is being used as a house now. Yeah, and I can't tell you nothing about this area. No, can't tell you. Couldn't tell you anything about this area because, no, don't think I've ever been out this way that I can remember. It's just occasionally fun to go for the drive and ramble on about nothing. That, as I've stated several times, well, 90% of what I do on YouTube doesn't really get views. My gun stuff gets a little better because, well, it's gun stuff and there's always an audience for it. I just need to do a little more with that, and I haven't been doing what I should. Like, if I want that to actually grow at all, like, I probably ought to do a separate channel for it instead of doing the whole everything on one. Because now, if you do a channel where you do more than one thing on there, a lot of people get curious, or get upset if it's not all related to the same thing. And it's super freaking annoying to me. And it's really the whole thing that unless your channel had already gotten stuff from, a decade ago, or was already slightly big, you're basically screwed now unless you just happen to get super lucky. Ooh, that actually looks like a pretty classic car. And yeah, it's a sedan. It looks like a old Grand Marquis. Couldn't tell because the fucking sun flashing weird as shit through the trees. Looks like we're getting more to a livestock portion because there's a whole flock of cows to my right. I can't really show that easy. Heck, I think if I went westbound now, I'd be able to, but I'm going to go up one more street because, good Lord, I'm almost at 30 minutes again. Heck, I think I've been doing this has been more doing these videos has been more therapeutic just in the drive than anything else. I probably ought to spend the money on a better lapel mic so I can stop peaking it. And just get off my ass and start doing some other stuff. Maybe, just maybe one of these days I'd be able to make like a couple of bucks off a YouTube channel. Ugh. Although I do think it's one of those things that for a lot of people, it's just something that's exponentially harder to do. I'm just gonna try to make sure that I don't come up here and do the whole bullshit and whatnot to where I might end up somebody's locale. I still could end up somebody's locale, but they're gonna be like, "Man, you're fucking boring. Like you don't even bitch about a lot of dumb problems and whatnot." Quite literally, most of what I do throughout the week is go to work, and as long as it's not a massive amount of overtime, I'm expected to do. And some of it should have turned there. No, it's a dirt road, anyways. Fuck that. So go to work and go to the gym. People are like, how are you going to meet a woman that way? Kind of don't care. And there's a plausibility I may be the last of my bloodline, but I've accepted that fact. And sometimes it's just the way it goes for people. So on that jury note, as we're starting to go into the sun, I'm going to call it. This has been a fun drive. Hopefully one of these days the mic won't sound terrible, which I assume it does already. And I will have more to talk about when I start. And I'll get my dad in on one of these. Have a good one, folks. Thanks.